What's this? A little bit is okay, just don't go over the top. That's it.
Or a pencil. Which one do you want?
Like, start now. Not a debate.
It's gonna be your shooters. Is plastic surgery bad? Everyone looks pretty and everyone has their own like beauty inside or outside, and I don't think that everyone should look the same. Hello.
Okay. Is plastic surgery bad? Plastic surgery is not good.
That's a big question, right? Especially here in South Korea, that's a really big issue. That's a really big question. I don't know.
Shooters asked, if people choose to do those kinds of procedures, it's okay with me. I don't think it's bad.
Whoa, not bad. Someone just wants to stay looking younger forever and ever. I don't think that's good. Chest implants, ab implants, other places.
So I'd like to welcome all of our viewers and, of course, you shooters onto the program. We'll discuss openly the topic until the roundtable ends, and we've all agreed on a unified statement. So the topic today is plastic surgery bad? What do you all think? Kevin, want to
Sure,
take a
yeah,
shot?
I'd love to kick it off. I think growing up in the States, when plastic surgery was just coming to popularity, I think we looked at it as something that maybe the rich and famous would do, but that the common man would not under any circumstances.
So did you do anything?
Well, being that I'm very rich and
I'm
famous,
not calling you common.
I haven't yet. I do exercises in the morning with my eyes. But it was just something that was kind of strange and alien to us.
So you thought it was bad?
Probably something that was unnecessary. Unnatural, unnecessary, and that you wouldn't want to do if you're just kind of a wholesome, common, everyday man.
It was demonized at the start as well, right?
I
There's
think
always
so.
bad press about it.
What do you think, Jan?
Well, in France, France has this reputation of being the whole natural country and really we're famous for makeup also, but also girls don't really wear much makeup in France, and we say we don't. So that's kind of the reputation of France, but I'm feeling like these days it's becoming more and more Americanized.
Is that a good thing?
No,
is
in the kind of, not really. Kind of, it's the glamorous side of America, the tabloid side of America.
So what do you mean? So with plastic surgery, you're saying that it was considered sort of taboo or not a good
it was
thing?
totally
but now
taboo
it's
before.
changing?
Now I feel like it's changing, and there's certain areas of France who are really, really different from the capital, where you have more kind of, I don't know, it's hard to say, but more kind of dumb, common mentalities. You have those everywhere in your countries, right?
Okay.
Well, in these parts, plastic surgery will be more accepted because they kind of follow the American system.
So you just said plastic surgery is dumb?
And then he said it was an American system.
Wow, okay, we're off to a great start. What about the other people? How about Zana?
Okay. Living in Korea, you can't help noticing people with plastic surgery. Several days ago, my young son, who is attending elementary school, he came and out of blue sky said, "Mama, thank you that I'm a boy, not a girl." I said, "Why?" Because if I were a girl, I had to cut my nose and make my eyes bigger.
And how old is he?
He's 10 years old.
Such a smart kid.
So that means children as young as 10 years old, they're discussing their prospects for plastic surgery.
But he hasn't lived in Korea long enough because guys are getting plastic surgery too.
Exactly.
So
A lot of celebrities too, right?
yeah.
So what do you think about that?
I actually, because maybe I've lived here so long that I really don't think it's a bad thing, especially in cases if you have like burn victims or if someone has a deformity or something like that. I think it's great. I think the quality of life that they'll have after plastic surgery is going to be really good. It's going to make life better. In some cases, if girls feel like that they have more self-confidence, if they get like the bridge in their nose raised or if they get the double eyelid surgery, that they're going to have better chances of getting married or finding a mate. Okay, there are some underlying issues maybe that have to deal with lying. I mean, you got to be upfront and say, okay, I did get this type of surgery. But at the basis, I don't think it's like wrong if you ask me point blank that question.
Well, personally, I hate the fact that society keeps telling women that they're not good enough. And I think this is also, it stems from the same mentality, right? I know it's become a men issue too in Korea, but I think in worldwide, generally, it's a women thing. So, of course, I mean, I know it's a personal choice matter and it depends on, the person, and if it makes you feel better about yourself, like, Travis said, sure, do it. But I think
it's not helping the big picture.
Yeah, I don't think it does provide any solvency. I don't think it really makes you feel better about yourself.
Because you can never be thin enough. You can never be young enough.
And the beauty standards are not a static thing. They're always changing. They're dynamic. And once what's considered pretty today is not going to be considered pretty in 10 years or so. And then where do you draw the line, right?
So you think society is making this?
Well, media, obviously,
media, society, media. I mean, society is reflected in media. So, in a way.
Okay. Barry?
Well, the situation in Britain is, like Noura says, and also like Jana said as well, is a case of growing acceptance, especially for young women. So in the past 10 to 15 years, I think largely gone in terms of British culture, and that's basically to do with media, and I think it's primarily to do with reality television, because we've had so many reality TV stars in Britain who've been open about the surgery that they've had, and in fact we've had people who've become famous simply because they've had plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery. They have no other qualification, but nevertheless these are accepted public figures who become very famous and very wealthy. And like you said about women, in Britain 90% of the people who have plastic surgery, it's women, and it's primarily young women, and that's because of the pressure on
But
young
Jan,
women.
you just said it's almost like a freak show, but we have actually one show here in Korea that's quite famous. I think it's called Let Me In, and they bring out these two. Okay, so these women are usually women. They sort of transform their lives through extensive plastic surgery, and it seems like they've all seem happier. They've managed to achieve their dreams, but
I think that negates your own self-dignity in a lot of ways, or maybe your own self-confidence, or maybe even self-acceptance.
It's the main difference between Europe and Korea, actually. It's most plastic surgery is repairing something, or for example, breast surgery usually is for people that have no breasts.
That's not repairing.
After
You know what I'm saying?
That's not repairing.
In Korea,
It's not really repairing.
Yeah, you're born,
That's
Okay.
exactly.
That's your natural size.
Well, it's usually when it's a big problem, not repairing, but when it's a big problem.
with the
Here in
words
Korea,
there.
it's kind of like, oh, I have $10,000. I might as well do it. There's not much thought in the process.
But I think that
compared
begs
to
the
Europe.
question, where are your core values? Do you feel like that you need to conform to what society says is beautiful, or to what men find appealing? So you're saying, I need to get my nose, or I need to get breast augmentation because I want to become more desirable, that society says this is the way that you look desirable?
You know what one of the most pernicious things about plastic surgery is, that I think? It's kind of what Noura was mentioning earlier, which is that the pressure might not even come from men and just pure desirability, but it might be from their peers. It might be like women pressuring women, and it sort of becomes embedded. It might start
It's
with
probably women playing the man game as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Or maybe
Women
just
being-
living life in general for 20 years and being bombarded with television and magazines and newspapers and everything.
It's women that want big breasts, right?
Maybe it's cultural.
well, in the States, it's breasts.
focus on one area.
What is it? God, I need to quit daydreaming there, friend.
I mean, in the States, it's definitely breasts. In France, because you're
In
Americanizing.
France, I mean, the number one intervention for men is lifting. We say lifting, which is
Oh, for the face.
okay.
facelift, right? And for women, it's breast enhancement.
Wow, they get facelifts in France.
Yeah, of course.
No, he was
No, I
saying
mean, you
before-
say of course, but I would never
because
think.
the French, I think, have a sort of
Well, this is excluding Botox because we in France they don't consider Botox as surgery, kind of more
Yes,
chemical
actually,
injection.
you
Quite
mentioned
French.
before that, you know, they give off the air of not really trying too hard and it's all very natural, but underneath it, there's
yeah.
a lot of effort, a lot of
work.
visits to the dermatologists and skin doctors and
Yes, probably, but not around me because I live in a quite a funny region. But yes,
Beautiful,
like
only beautiful people from your region.
no, they just don't really care about anything.
Is it because it's more rural? Or?
Yeah, it's more rural and it's really far from the capital, maybe.
Okay.
And it's not much sunshine, so people don't really show off their bodies maybe in summer.
just keep it all under wraps.
Yeah, just
guys
kind
live
of
in
like you're not
caves
gonna
there or
see it. So
No, but let me bring it back to, you know, using cosmetic surgery to maybe enhance one's chances, not just for, you know, desirability for the opposite sex, but for jobs and for careers. I mean, Jan, you work in the entertainment industry
Yes.
where looks and modeling, of course, so looks is a big deal and
oh yes,
appearing
and it's
desirable.
not even your own
and-
choice actually,
Right.
because for example, some of my friends that were signed to agencies that had 2 to 5 year contracts, and there was clauses about plastic surgery. If they didn't do the plastic surgery, they would not get the contract.
Really?
Wow.
Did they tell you to do something too?
No, not me. I don't.
I'm perfect.
No, because
I'm from that region where people don't
Yeah,
care.
that beautiful region where nobody gets surgery.
We're born this way.
We
yeah.
live in caves.
I'm in music.
Get
It's
sunlight.
different, and I haven't been on TV that much, so I'm not in the public eye as much.
Your shooter's
But I'm sure
contract-
if I was,
Did you have a shooter's contract that had a clause or?
I don't know. Yeah, they mentioned Botox a couple of times, but I had to pay 50%. So.
Botox where though? You're in your bum or what?
Yeah, in my bum.
Yeah, no, but like I think going back to that topic, which is like looks intervening in like, you know, applying for jobs, I think just that's really dangerous because it's just I actually regret that it's come to that point.
Why do you say dangerous
Because it's so looks. I don't think looks have anything to do with your performance
But
as a
let's-
worker.
Let's get realistic. I
You
mean,
know?
when you're having
I
to
mean-
work with someone, whether it's a client or a colleague,
Yeah.
wouldn't you rather work with someone who is physically better?
No, I'm not gonna marry them or like look at them. I'm just gonna work with them. I'd rather work with someone
need
who's
to talk about
professional,
job
who can
parameters
do
then,
their
too.
job and do the things that you know they're supposed to do
Yeah, that's true.
professionally and successfully,
I
regardless of
wouldn't
how
hire
they were.
someone pretty. I
sales.
would be like, she's not gonna work.
Oh, that's
Maybe.
hey, that's
Oh,
prejudice.
wow.
That's also like
That is like,
That's positive action.
One of the most
I'm
surprising
hiring.
things.
What about the case in Russia? Is plastic surgery quite common?
No. No, you know, Russia is quite famous for beautiful women,
Yeah.
but it's not famous for plastic surgery.
just
Plastic
point that
surgery
out.
is still very limited area in Russia.
Because everyone is beautiful. So what do you do with ugly people?
No,
where do you put them? Where do you hide them?
just when we look at the beauty, we appreciate first maybe eyes, look, skin, impression, whole impression, healthy body, not fat, not very slim. So the particular features, it's maybe in the second. And the clients of most plastic surgery hospitals are usually people from entertainment industry or wives of our new Russians, oligarch. They try to do their best to keep rich men next to them, but average women,
Because they're not
no,
good.
they don't go for plastic surgery. And you know, when I was preparing for this program, I found very interesting statistics that Russia tops women taking positions as SEO. So many Russian women, they're having SEO positions in the company. That means that Russian women, mostly they're obsessed with education, with their professional careers.
But wouldn't sales be kind of a public thing where,
yeah, I
where your
understand
face,
that.
you know,
yeah,
would,
that's
would
about
Where you
your
get people to-
presentation, right?
yeah.
Convince
It's
people
not
to
a
buy
cultural
something.
value. It's not a strong cultural value to have a beautiful appearance when you're marketing or selling something.
And still, I think if any professional women did any plastic surgery, they would try not to reveal it.
Well, of course. I mean, most
be
stars are
secret.
people that are in positions.
Well, actually, I mean, I think in Korea too, it was considered taboo to admit that you had plastic surgery, but I think things are changing nowadays.
at all.
Could that be perpetuating the trend for more plastic
I
surgery?
think that's absolutely the case, and it's certainly the case in Britain. But that's a very fascinating change, right? Because one would assume that you get something done, it's meant to be hidden, it's meant to be surreptitious. You don't want people to know that you've had to do something to improve your appearance, right? But now we've reached this tipping point where it doesn't matter. As long as if you've had something done, you're completely open about it. But doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose in some way of what you're trying to achieve, of what you're trying to do?
Plastic
So with
surgery.
more people being open about their plastic surgery, more people are becoming accepting, do you think, of plastic surgery?
I think so. I mean,
So that means
Totally.
plastic surgery is not bad then? No?
you know, in the States, there's a lot of diversity even with like facial piercings and the way people present themselves to where you can get kind of a normal company man job. And I think there's like a tolerance and acceptance of sort of that diversity. But it's still, you know, in the States, it's not about the facial surgery.
Piercing shows you kind of, I know, kind of interesting person a little bit sometimes.
You're kind of non-conforming.
But
Right,
fake
kind of
nose,
friendly
Yeah,
a little
it's
bit.
kind of
fake
like
nose doesn't show that, oh, I'm rebelling
I'm
against
a
the
rebel.
system. It's kind of a fake nose.
But if your girlfriend had something done,
I wouldn't care. To be fair. I wouldn't care if it's within the limits of natural. If she's not striving to become something that doesn't exist in nature, then I'm okay with it.
enhancing
Yes.
your breast size is also not
It's not nature.
natural.
Yeah, but
really,
if it's
for
a
her.
natural breast size, then I don't see the problem.
Yeah, natural compared to which standards, you know?
Whoa.
So in like the
I'm-
US, the standards are
Well, you want sizes straight up?
sure, why not?
Well, let's say like after
Compared to
double
what's
D,
your, like, measurement?
it's too much.
After double,
Oh my god.
that's the
That's
answer.
your limit. That's your limit.
Okay.
You know, another interesting thing is like in the States, if you have a breast augmentation, that's something that's private and kind of hidden by your clothes, right? But a facial surgery is something that everybody
Public.
sees.
Can see.
So I think for Americans who come to Asia and see the facial surgery, it might be more disturbing for them.
I have never met
that
any
reason.
woman who had a breast augmentation surgery and kept it under wraps.
Well-
Why would you do it if you're going to keep it hidden away?
That-
no?
well,
No,
that's
some people
true.
do that. I mean, I want to just comment on that. No, people, do it publicly and they want to show their, plastic surgery. One of the the leading Arab country in plastic surgery is Saudi Arabia, where women don't even show their faces.
And what are the procedures there?
So
Like,
it's like
what happens?
Mostly, I think it's like a nose job, a cheek implant,
Really?
lips enhancement, liposuction. So yeah,
So there's a definite cultural difference between, I think, maybe Korea and maybe the US or the UK, where you'll get breast augmentation to stand out more than in Korea. But what if you just want to enhance what you have naturally?
I think he just wants.
Yeah. No, but no, I mean,
You just want-
Noor, I mean, when you were growing up, didn't you ever kind of look at yourself in the mirror and
Oh,
think,
yeah, of
you know,
course,
I
of
wish
course.
I could just
Just
change this
think about yourself
myself.
today.
Like as a teenager,
Look, today you're wearing something quite pretty, right?
yeah,
You're wearing
of course.
something quite pretty.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
wore this because you wanted to enhance your appearance.
I wore this
So
because
why don't
it's
you consider
comfortable.
your face as just a kind of canvas for an accessorizing, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I agree to a certain extent, right? But I
Because
think
your face
there's-
is only like 5% of your body and 90% is covered in accessories. So why not accessorize your face?
I agree. This is why also so this is again a discussion of whether makeup is also part part of like plastic
Exactly.
surgery because you are changing or like enhancing
it's
your
European
look. Like,
plastic
people enhance.
surgery,
I mean,
actually.
women enhance their eyes or lips. I don't know, but I think. So having this drastic change that is irreversible, I can go back home and I can remove the makeup and I'll still be me.
Yeah, but then the next
Technically,
morning
you
you'll be like,
can
oh, I gotta do it
undo
again.
plastic surgery.
Yeah. But I
Especially
mean,
in England, actually. Girls in the morning look a lot different.
Was this a research article that you read, or was
It's
it
crazy.
That's universal.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
No,
I
but-
don't think that's. Do you think that's a particularly
But actually,
British?
do Korean girls wear as much makeup as British girls?
I think
Definitely not.
Korean women are actually obsessed with makeup, and we're quite famous with it. But it's not so much color makeup as it is
doesn't
it's
change.
skincare. So
Yeah.
it's very natural looking.
Yes.
But they're very interested and they're very quite almost obsessive to a point about their skincare and makeup.
Most women are going to put makeup on every day,
Yeah.
right? That they go out. So if plastic surgery can save time,
Exactly.
I wonder. I mean, doesn't it buy back some?
I don't think that it will stop there, right? So once you get a nose job, you will think, oh, maybe I need to get like a
Yeah, exactly.
like a
Okay,
cheek
I think
implant.
one thing that we're
then it's
we're not brushing upon that we should. It's still a personal choice.
Yeah, exactly.
It's our choice to do it. So I don't think there's anything wrong if they want to do it. Now, the underlying issues behind it, if they have no self-confidence, if they're looking for perpetual youth, then I think that's something that they need to like search their soul and adjust to themselves. Because we're all going to get older. We're going to get gray hair. We're going to go bald. We're going to get wrinkles. But if you cannot actually adjust to that or deal with that, then that's something else that lies deeper than just your appearance.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered almost every aspect regarding plastic surgery as to the different sort of expectations that we have of beauty with men and women, and also what's fueling this sudden rise in plastic surgery, not just in Korea, but all over the world. So perhaps you've made up your mind regarding the shooter's question, which is plastic surgery bad? Have you made up your mind, shooters? Yes? Let me see a show of hands for yes, you do think plastic surgery is bad.
I think it's
Yeah.
I'm the only man who thinks it's bad.
So evenly split again. We'll give you time now to go to your respective armories, drum up your arguments, and come back for the final sort of showdown, okay? Let's gear up, shooters.
Let's do this. What else?
But it's not really a freedom of choice, influenced by society and all the messages that we get from the media.
Problem of sexism.
plastic surgery is bad just because women should be valued for their professional skills. For
Yeah,
some,
well, it's not just about women. It's
Yeah, race thing, the race argument that like when it's really bad when like Asians are trying to like change their Asian features.
There was a very nice story that one father gave money and organized eyes operation for his daughter, but later he was crying because her eyes were before looked like father's, but now it's were very strange.
ask questions about your existence.
You're a different person. You were born in a different time. You have different preferences, and that's also completely fine.
Physically and socially, it has side effects, right? It could
Yeah.
lead to death or like, I don't know, severe injuries.
Plastic surgery is part of the cultural background. You know, it's one of many possible problems, right? Possible good things, possible bad things in the society. It's only a choice that they can make.
The strongest points that we can make is the choice factor.
You're absolutely within your rights. If you want to get your nose done or your breasts done or your buttocks done, whatever it is, that's your right as an individual, an autonomous individual in modern society. I mean, modern medicine can do these things for us.
Got an idea.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to take the angle that plastic surgery can actually help people feel better about
there
themselves?
are lots of cases where plastic surgery does help people if you're born with a cleft palate or a hair lip.
corrective.
Exactly.
So we could say corrective.
Yeah,
Exactly.
or sort of fixing, noses or all sorts of things. Ear surgery, lip reconstruction. It's been around for a long time, so it actually has a very long history.
Plastic surgery essentially is a choice.
It's the individual's right. I mean, you have a right to it, right?
Yeah.
So shooters, shall we open fire? Yes?
Let's do it.
Let's begin with the statement from the yes team.
Right, okay. So on our team, we think plastic surgery is bad, has bad effects on society from 3 different angles, right? The first angle is that it's sexist and it's misogynist and it only targets women. Secondly, because it's blind consumerism, so people don't really think about why they want to do it. They just do it because other people do it. And then thirdly, we think it's harmful on 2 levels. The physical level and then the social level. So that's why we believe plastic surgery is bad.
All right. And now for the no team.
Well, our statement is much simpler. Okay, our statement is much simpler and much clearer. So we want to say that plastic surgery is neither inherently good nor inherently bad. Okay, as a statement of fact, it's neither inherently good, it's neither inherently bad. It's simply a matter of choice, and we can elaborate on what that choice means and the significance of that choice. But essentially, at the end of the day, plastic surgery in and of itself is neither inherently good and nor is inherently bad. And that's where we need to start the discussion.
Yeah, well,
We think it's bad.
yeah, we think no, but we think that there is no real choice in this matter, because if you were to choose a scenario where people just like you for who you are and people think you're pretty just the way you were born, you won't really opt in into a plastic surgery. So we think the freedom of choice is denied from the start, from the get-go. People don't
There's a
really
bigger
choose.
problem here that you guys are not seeing because you are.
Well, I think we
It's
see
not
the
a
problem, but we
case
can't really
of-
answer
yeah,
it within
that's-
plastic surgery, right?
that's
There's a
ridiculous,
context of
You
media,
even said yourself
culture.
it's an underlying issue.
Yeah.
Plastic surgery, quintessentially, is not bad or good. That's what we're saying inherently in terms of the definition.
Oh no, of course we agree. We agree that it's as a tool, right? It's not really good or bad. It's up to how society implements or utilizes that tool. We think the way that is utilized and the way that is used in the status quo is harmful, right? Because it targets only women, right? Probably the majority of cases where people opt into plastic surgery are women, right?
Majority, but it doesn't only target women.
It
Yeah, we
doesn't
agree.
only
However,
target-
majority
the only country
is women.
really with male plastic surgery is probably Korea, right?
No, it's
Well,
not true.
Britain has male plastic surgery as well.
Really?
But again,
do
are
you
we,
have any mates with plastic surgery?
Yeah.
I don't have any female friends with plastic surgery.
I have many
As
female
such.
friends with plastic
Really,
surgery.
from Britain?
I have actually family members,
But
only female.
Yeah.
We need to recognise before we move on with the debate that there are certifiably good things which plastic surgery has done. So plastic surgery actually has a history of several centuries. It's been around for a very long time. So it doesn't just exist in our modern context. Okay, it's been repairing people's lips, ears, and noses for a very long time. And we have to look
We're
at
not
the.
talking about
We
that.
agree about
Well, we
repair,
have to look
yeah.
at what the good things that plastic surgery has done. And think of people born with cleft palates or with hair lips or reconstructive surgery or women that have had a mastectomy. All of these things are very, very important, and they're all genuine surgical needs which can be addressed by plastic surgery.
we don't like disagree with you on that, right? We
That's
think
totally
that when
different.
it's
That's
a
the same- that is what
reconstructive
plastic
or
surgery is.
correctional surgery,
That's
then
what
that's
it
fine,
is.
right?
Yeah.
But
These
it's
days.
beyond that.
So
It's something
okay,
else.
so
Statistically, I'm sure there's more cosmetic surgery just to actually make yourself prettier than to.
Statistically, but there is a use for plastic surgery that actually originated
yeah.
after World War
Yeah, but
I.
that's
One of the
just
most famous
surgery.
doctors was a man who designed masks for soldiers who had undergone terrible disfigurement.
I think
And
you guys
he-
are playing with words.
Well, but he enabled these soldiers to change their appearance, to gain more confidence, to feel that they could fit in society, which we think is a very positive.
In this case, we agree. We don't think it's harmful, but because it is used nowadays in order to get you a newer nose. It's not like you don't have a nose, but you need to recreate a new nose. It's not like, for those who were involved in car accidents or I don't know, like wars and stuff. I think it makes sense, for them if they want to reconstructive surgery. But I think what it's harmful about having people who want just a different nose, a bigger nose, bigger eyes,
When you
smaller
break-
chin.
When
it's
you
just,
break a bone,
Yeah.
of course you need surgery to
Yeah.
repair your bone, but you don't get surgery to get two legs.
So are you saying only for a boosting above a certain level it's bad, but getting up to a certain level is okay?
Of course,
Would that
getting
be
back to your original level? Yeah, that's fine.
So plastic surgery is good in some cases, but in many cases it
We're
encourages
talking about
narcissism.
transforming plastic
Yes.
surgery here.
We think there's also a different. Let's discuss harms, right? We think it's physically harmful, right? I mean, there has been many cases of severe injuries and where plastic surgeries has gone wrong, or like some people actually died because of like liposuction and whatnot. So in this case, we think it's unnecessary. Right? You're inflicting an unnecessary pain on yourself. And then secondly, we think that on a social level, you are changing. So of course, people want to get plastic surgery because they want to look like superstars, like celebrities. And let's face it, most celebrities, the ones that are, international celebrities are Western, right? They're like Angelina Jolie and I don't know, Brad Pitt. So people want to look like Angelina Jolie
But
and
that's a
Brad
problem
Pitt.
with the media, not
But-
with plastic surgery,
Yes,
right?
see,
I mean, we
that's
have
the
these
problem.
very
But
deep
my
problems
point is
with
that
media.
the dominant
So you
culture,
want
the
to take
hegemon
choice,
culture,
you want to remove choice?
is Western.
You want to take choice?
There should be
I
laws
disagree.
based.
No.
Choice
Yeah,
issue.
No, we don't think there's a choice.
Wait, that's a good point.
think there's a choice?
Travis asked if you think it'd be a good idea to put laws to ban it. If it really is bad, and it's the government's responsibility to protect people from bad things, shouldn't
Because
the
it
government?
physically and socially harms them, because there's other things in society that doesn't physically harm people or socially harm people. We have to deal with this on an individual basis, and I think it comes with our upbringing, the core values that we have. I think it comes with a lot of the different experiences that we have in our life that helps us make educated decisions to say if we should or should not get it. So what we're saying is we want to say that it's not inherently bad. Once again, we'll go back to the original statement, but that it is your choice And hopefully you're able to make the right decision, because we're not disagreeing definitely with some of the extreme cases. And especially another one of your points where you're saying it's the bad effect on society. Yes, of course, I hate when I see how media empowers women to think it's okay that they need to change their complete aura just to please a man or to look good on television. I hate that. Of course, but guess what? For the most part, it's the surgery that's not bad. It's the media and the image that they're trying to portray upon us. Popular.
Guys, let me
I
bring
don't
it
think
a little bit more personal, on a more personal level, because I think that all of you are being persuaded both by your own team and the opposing team. But let's imagine a situation where I know some of you are still single. You've been maybe chatting or meeting someone online, and it seems like a perfect fit. Great personality, you chat, you talk very freely. You've even spoken on the phone, great voice, and then you finally agree to meet or agree to reveal each other's
I know where this is
faces.
going.
And when you meet the other person,
She's a man.
you find them physically unattractive to a point where you almost think to yourself, that person needs some plastic surgery.
It's the catfish scenario,
So,
right?
I
again,
don't think you need that person needs plastic surgery. You just said,
would
okay, well,
would
let's
their
go back online.
would their physical appearance sort of make or break a relationship then, a potential relationship?
I don't think so.
Because you said it's not that important.
Really?
Really?
Do you have a picture of your husband? I'm sure your husband
My
is not.
husband
is
is attractive.
Well,
That's why I'm married to
That's
him.
what they're saying. Exactly. So would
But if he wasn't attractive,
I have to say, I'd be very concerned if my wonderful fiance said, "Oh, I really want to get some type of procedure," regardless of what that type of procedure is. I'd have to say, I'd be concerned.
But you said you would. You said you would do it yourself.
it's okay for me. It's okay for me, but not for anyone else.
Well, I admit that I feel terribly shallow saying that I would get hair plugs.
But you shouldn't.
Okay, but I would do. I do instinctively feel terribly shallow or superficial saying that matters to me. But
You
I have
should, you
to
should put that hand on the
Yes,
table.
maybe
and
you
press
should be
stuff.
pressing some buttons.
No, Barry, don't push that button. You know why? Because he's facing pressure from the media that shows men who have full heads of hair into their 60s, and he's having a very natural response to that.
You are
media
true,
input.
yeah.
That's
But
what we
then
think.
there's other issues. So there were studies that show that people who are taller, on average, get paid more. But I'd never try and add a couple of inches to my legs or something like that. That's kind of drastic and crazy, right?
I guess you
I
have to
would.
be a taller man to get paid more.
Yes,
To make, do you think women has a choice to make surgery or not?
I totally understand.
she
The
does.
pressure on women is ridiculous. It's crazy. Women's naked bodies are all over the subway. They're all over advertisements, right? But it's true, right? Bikinis or pop stars. Or there was a really interesting article in this academic, and she compared the front covers of the poses on the front covers of. Like sexualized K-pop images with the images of 5-year-old girls on lunchboxes aimed at 5-year-old girls, and you could change the poses and it'd be exactly the same image. And that pressure that's on women is unbelievable. It's ridiculous. And I think we're all going to agree that it's a burden that's considerably far more on women than it is on men, obviously.
And I think what makes it even worse is that it targets children too.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's, you're already
Absolutely,
wrecking their self-confidence and self-esteem from a very young age.
Absolutely.
But like we said, we reinforced that argument that it's not necessarily plastic surgery's fault, it's media's.
Yeah, but the thing is, we feel like without plastic surgery, that there already is a problem, and we feel like plastic surgery is kind of, it's making it worse. It's just making women feel
like we said,
worse.
Guys,
there's the advantage.
we've actually already reached a consensus. I cannot believe this. It's already, we've reached consensus.
Oh, Barry.
Barry, was it you?
It might well have been. I'm not.
But actually, let me see if either of each side of you would change your mind after seeing what the average Korean on the street thinks.
Oh,
So
yes.
should we
That's
take a short break now and see what Koreans think about plastic surgery? Let's take a look.
그 와이프가 성형을 해서 이쁘다고 해서 크게 흠이 되거나 나쁘게 보진 않을 것 같습니다.
오히려 안 한 사람이 이상해지는 그런 풍조가 이미 좀 이 압구정일 때는 좀 만연한 것 같아요.
장애, 사회적으로 좀 어려움을 느끼는 부분에 대해서 좀 더 나아지게 할 수 있는 부분이라면 성형수술이 나쁜 것만은 아니라고 생각을 하고요.
자연스럽지 못한 것 같아서 그냥 너무 다 똑같이 얼굴들이 생겨서 붓기도 하고 나중에 부작용도 심하고 하니까.
얼굴이나 뭐 몸매에 대해서 불만족하신 사람이 조금 고쳐가지고 자기가 만족스럽게 하면 좋은 거 아니에요?
아우 너무 뜯어 고치고 막 다른 사람으로 만들어지고 이러는 거는 끔찍해요.
애인이 만약에 성형 미남이라도 추천하면 상관없어요.
아, 그건 싫어요.
I don't know if any of our shooters were persuaded by the people on the streets of Korea. They seem to be a little bit more on the no side. What about the yes team? What did you think?
Just kind of proves our initial point that they're just kind of blind and don't really care about the big
Blind and don't really care.
People
That's are blind and don't care. That's a remarkably judgmental thing to say about these adults out there. I think what it obviously reflects is they want a choice, right? They want
we think they want a choice, right? Except that we think that they are denied from the right of or freedom of choice to begin with. They have
the thing
to
about
apply,
choice,
yes,
choice
to
has-
specific standards that society sets, and usually it's set by men, of course.
But choice has the corollary. You have choice and then you have responsibility. And we really think that responsibility of parenthood is important, how you raise your children to be confident. We think the media has responsibility, and we can't just shift all that responsibility onto plastic surgery.
Oh, we
That's
agree,
not really fair.
totally. I mean, I think if you really need to like implement some drastic change on your face, you need to have a talk with your
Well, you
parents
guys
because
are saying that you don't.
apparently
you don't
we're
have,
not loved enough.
You say you don't
unconditionally.
have a choice. Well, we're brought up.
Yeah.
Most of us probably we learn the essentials of eating right. Yet, by percentage, I think fast food restaurants are like food that's unhealthy for
That's
us.
a
We
good
eat
point,
a lot
yeah.
of it. Yet, you're saying if it was the same circumstances that we don't have a choice. I mean, we're bombarded by media and all these commercials and all the advertisements. They're just saying you should eat at our place because, you know, fried food is good or whatever. Yet we know that essentially it's not good for us.
Yeah, but plastic surgery, they're telling us it's good for us.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the.
But you still
But
have
you're
that
saying
choice.
we don't have a
Except that in
choice.
plastic surgery is the other way around. It's they're telling you how you should
It's
look.
actually positive
But
marketing.
let's go back to the issue. We're not asking should plastic surgery be a choice. We're just asking is it good or bad.
Exactly.
We're asking if
It's
it's
bad.
bad.
I think
It's not
so.
about
It's
whether
real
it's
bad.
a,
I
it should
think
be a choice.
evaluating
If I was in
plastic
America,
surgery.
I'd say that.
Look, the reason why I brought that in is because you said they don't have a choice, where we say yes, you do. That's the whole reason why I came up
Well, we think
with that analogy.
maybe if you were a woman that you have to to go or to adhere to certain criterias and as in what looks nice and whatnot, you'll really realize that
But
it won't
Nora,
really have a choice.
I gotta interject there. I mean, Zana, as another woman, do you really feel that it's the men who determine what the ideal female beauty is, or aren't women just as critical, if not more, of each other's physical appearance? Aren't we more critical?
I think still the beauty standards they are established by men.
How established? Like how so?
If you look at the advertisement, we are, as Barry said, we are surrounded by the images of the pretty girls of certain type.
But some of those are chosen by women, right? Artistic directors.
So do you think the marketing strategy is totally men have no idea? This is what we
I
say
think
good
that
beauty
it's
products
men
should be for
who
women. Or
who view women as commodity.
well, yeah.
And because of that, many women they forced to make plastic surgery because they're not valued for another traits like professional skills and minds and something else.
So what
That
if
is
you
true.
reject that norm? If you're a woman and you say, I don't conform to that, why can you not just conform to that? I mean,
Because
reject
social
that
pressure
norm.
is a powerful thing. We think what they're trying to do is that they're trying to isolate plastic surgery from the context, and we don't think you can do that, right?
Sorry.
Judging plastic surgery as a tool by itself, right? Okay, it might be a good tool, it might be a bad tool, but how it's implemented within the status quo is what interests us. And the way it is implemented right now, it's harmful. And that's why we don't think you can say, okay, plastic surgery can be good, can be bad. Yes, we agree, but under the status quo, in real life, it's creating more harm.
But can I just veer off a little bit? I mean, not so much staying on plastic surgery, but the norms or what we regard as beautiful. We women like to say we don't dress for other men.
Well-
Or for men. We dress for ourselves, and actually, we women usually dress for other women. We judge each other more.
You know, I
I
can
don't
say
think- I
buying
don't think that's
purses is
true,
exactly that. My wife loves purses, and I love her as much as she loves purses, but those purses are not for me. They're not to impress me. They're not to impress other men. I think it's more for the female
Yeah, but
side
that's
of approval.
materialism.
Yeah, exactly.
That's totally different. But
I
but the mini skirt that she's wearing to impress the other woman, she's only wearing that to impress the other woman because the other woman is contaminated already by the male
Yeah, I don't think.
dictatorship that happened before.
Great, and I don't think women really likes wearing high heels. It's so
Such a good
uncomfortable.
guy.
It's like you can't possibly walk with high heels.
But it makes your legs
But-
look nicer.
Yeah, it makes your legs look nicer, but it makes your back hurt like crazy.
Really, you never wear high heels?
No.
I just
Only in my
curious,
wedding.
outside of the argument, I just wondered.
In my wedding, and then for like 2 hours, and then I changed.
Maybe because we're really tall.
We're not supposed to judge people by how they look, right? This is what we're told. We should
Yes,
really judge
agree.
people by their character. So one thing that I thought about while preparing for this show is that even if people get plastic surgery, maybe we shouldn't judge that either. That if people have a weakness that they need to fill in some way, maybe we should be sympathetic to that as well.
Yeah, and we should tell them that they don't really need to get that plastic
But that
surgery
they can if
and
they want.
implement these huge, like, extreme measures in order to feel accepted and loved.
Exactly. That they can if they want, but they
if
shouldn't
they want,
need to.
they can. Of course, yeah, of course. It's a
You guys
personal
love your
choice.
husbands, obviously. You're not married, so or you
Yes,
love
of course.
you love your husbands.
Of course.
I mean, of course, if he loses his hair, if he goes bald,
Actually,
if
my
he gets
husband
lots of
shaves his
I'm
head.
just saying.
Oh,
He's
really?
on Barry's track.
Is that because he has a receding hairline?
Your husband
No,
is
because,
bad.
well, maybe a little bit, but he shaves it because
He
You,
just
you
likes
guys
it.
do love him, but the initial attraction that you guys had was probably, first of all, the looks. No? Obviously, there's personality. There are many things that come into play.
Looks can't
But
count.
ultimately, let's say he starts to let himself go. He gains some weight, he starts balding, maybe some teeth fall out, he's getting some wrinkles.
teeth
What-
fall out.
all I'm-
Lots of candy.
ultimately,
His teeth
ultimately,
more, no?
if he, it's his choice now. But if he wants to do something so that he
choice.
can look good for you, would you feel a little bit more embarrassed going out in public if he started
let's
to let
agree that
himself?
our husbands should have their teeth. Okay? First of all.
Maybe that was too low. Yeah, okay. We'll put the teeth back in.
But
Okay.
I will like strongly suggest him that he should go to the dentist to keep his teeth. But I think I mean it's a personal it's a personal choice. But I want people to really be able to make that choice. But we think that choices can be influenced and manipulated, and that's what's happening in the current
And that's why we
situation.
think there should be emotional counseling that goes along with every plastic surgery procedure, so that people can really make that informed choice, have time to think it through, be exposed to the fact that it is probably society that's forcing these ideas.
So would you suggest that there should be like some kind of an awareness or awareness
Absolutely.
campaign?
Oh, of course.
I
I think
there,
it's
there
just.
has
I
been,
think
yeah. There has
core-wise.
Shooters, you know what? We've reached bullseye. Give yourselves a hand. And a bigger hand, because it seems like both teams have managed to persuade each other. So we reached 5 to 5.
Wow.
Very well done. Very well
So we
done.
exchange views.
So now, of course, all we have to do is draft a one-sentence, unified statement that represented both sides of the argument regarding plastic surgery. That should be easy, right? We've all reached agreement.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes?
We're all here
Consensus?
then. We're all,
Yes, indeed.
start off.
We were persuaded that plastic surgery is not that bad.
Is that what we agreed on?
Guys, we're very convincing on the theme that the pressures faced by women are enormous. They're embedded, almost impossible to escape. Almost impossible.
And we agree with you that it can have like good uses, like reconstructive surgery
Yeah, sure.
and such things. So yeah, but
Don't agree that it's a choice.
no, we don't agree.
Sort
that's
of, kind of.
No, we don't think that it's a choice, basically,
So-
because we don't think it's a pure pure freedom of choice because people's choices are influenced by other factors within society. People don't really live in a lab. It's not like they make their own choices all, all by
So we
themselves.
can't say, is plastic surgery bad? No. You wouldn't accept that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well,
We think as it is used, it has bad effects as it
Okay.
is used.
How could we still use choice, though? That would be acceptable for your statement.
Maybe
The joint statement.
maybe we can add something like we think it's as you guys mentioned before that it's not necessarily good or bad. It's a matter of personal choice, and because we want to emphasize it's only a personal choice thing versus social or societal pressure.
Free of the pressure.
Yeah.
Free of the pressure.
Yes.
Yeah, so
we
when
can-
made free of social pressure.
Yes.
If you could add that.
then it can be good.
Yeah.
It could be a good thing.
So to wrap it up, how
So the first part of it is plastic surgery is neither good or bad. It's a matter of personal choice. And what was
When
it?
made free of social
When
pressure.
made free, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I can get on board with that. Sounds good.
very easy to agree today. Very, very
Not
agreeable.
really, actually.
Okay, so Shooters asks, of course, is plastic surgery bad? And Shooters answer, plastic surgery is neither good or bad when it's a personal choice and made free of social pressure. Well done, Shooters. Yes. Very well
Yes.
done. And we're going to wrap it up for this edition of Shooters, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Well done. How very civilized we are today. Yes. Well done.
Can we discuss?